Chapter 7. Captain Cook builds a nest. Very reluctantly, Julie and Bill had to leave Captain Cook and go to school. Miss Popper was busy in the kitchen, rather belatedly doing the breakfast dishes, and while she dimly realized that the penguin was going in and out the refrigerator pretty frequently, she thought nothing of it at first. Meanwhile, Mr. Popper had abandoned his telephone tinkling and was now busy shaving and making himself neat in honor of being the owner of such a splendid bird as Captain Cook. But the penguin, though thus neglected for the moment, was by no means idle. With the unusual excitement and having to go to market earlier than usual, Miss Popper had not yet got around to straightening the house. She was an excellent housekeeper. Still, with two children like Jolie and Bill, and a husband with such untidy ways, there is no denying the fact that she had to pick up the place rather frequently. Captain Cook was now attending to the picking up. Into the corners of every room he brought and poked and pecked with a busy, thorough list into every closet. He stared with his wide circled eyes under and behind all the furniture. He crowded his plump figure with little subdued cries of curiosity, surprise, and pleasure. Any time he found what he seemed to be looking for, he picked it up in the black end of his red beak and carried it, waddling proudly on his white pink feet into the kitchen and into the icebox. Alas, it occurred to Miss Popper to wonder what on earth the beneath bird was up to. When she looked, she could only scream to Mr. Popper to come quickly and see what Captain Cook had done now. Mr. Popper himself, looking rather remarkable as Miss Popper noticed nicer, joined her in staring with astonishment into the refrigerator. Captain Cook came up, through and held them look. "Ark, ark," he said with triumph. Miss Popper laughed, and Mr. Popper gasped as they saw the results of Captain Cook's trips through the house. 2 spools of thread, 1 white thread bishop, and 6 parts of a jigsaw puzzle, a teaspoon and a close box of safety matches, a radish, 2 pennies, a nickel, and a gold bowl, 2 pencil stubs and bent playing card, and a small ashtray, 5 hairpins, an olive, 2 dominoes, and a sock, a nail file, 4 buttons of various sizes, a telephone slug, 7 marbles, and a tiny dough tray, 5 chicken pieces, a bit of graham cracker, a butcher's cup, and an eraser, a door key, a button hook, and a crumpled piece of tinfoil, half of a very old lemon, the head of a china doll, Mr. Popper's pie, and a ginger ale cup, an ink bottle cork, 2 screws, and a belt buckle, 6 hats from a child's necklace, 5 building blocks, a darning egg, a bone, a small harmonica, and a partly concealed lollipop, 2 toothpicks, lids, and a small red notebook. "I guess this is what you call the rockery," said Mr. Popper, only he couldn't find any stones to build his nest with. "Well," said Miss Popper, "those penguins may have heathed ways at the South Pole, but I declare I think this one is going to be quite a hell around the house." "Oh," said Captain Cook, and strutting into the living room. He knocked over the bed lamps. "I think, Papa," said Miss Popper, "But you had better take Captain Cook outside for a little exercise." "Good gracious! But you're all dressed up. Why, you look almost like a penguin yourself." Mr. Popper had smoothed down his hair and shaved off his whiskers. Never again would Miss Popper have to reproach him for looking as white as a lion. He had put on a white shirt with a white tie and white flannel trousers, and a pair of bright tan ox-blood shoes. He had got out of the saddle, dressed his old black evening tailcoat that he had been married in, and brushed it carefully and put it on, too. He did indeed look a little like a penguin. He turned and trotted like one now for Miss Popper. But he did not forget his duty to Captain Cook. "Can I have a few yards of clothesline, please, ma'am?" asked Mr. Popper. Chapter 8. Penguins Promenade. Mr. Popper soon found that it was not so easy to take a penguin for a stroll. Captain Cook did not care at first for the idea of being put on a leash. However, Mr. Popper was firm. He tied one end of the clothesline to the penguin's fat throat and the other to his own wrist. "Ugh," said Captain Cook indignantly. Still, he was a very reasonable sort of bird, and when he saw that protesting did him no good, he recovered his customary dignity and decided to let Mr. Popper lead him. Mr. Popper put on his best Sunday derby and opened the front door with Captain Cook waddling graciously beside him. "Gore," said the penguin, stopped at the edge of the porch to look down at the steps. Mr. Popper gave him plenty of clothesline leash. "Good," said Captain Cook, and raising his flippers, he leaned forward bravely and tobogganed down the steps on his stomach. Mr. Popper followed, though not in the same way. Captain Cook quickly got up on his feet again and strutted to the street ahead of Mr. Popper with many quick turns of his head and pleased comments on the new scene. Down Brownfoot Avenue came a neighbor of the Poppers, Miss Calabran, with her arms full of groceries. She stared up in astonishment when she saw Captain Cook and Mr. Popper looking like a larger penguin himself in his black tailcoat. "Heavens have mercy on us!" she exclaimed as the bird began to investigate the stray stockings under her house dress. "It isn't an owl, and it isn't a goose." "It isn't," said Mr. Popper, tipping his Sunday derby. "It's an Antarctic penguin, Miss Callahan." "It's away from me," said Mr. Callahan to Captain Cook. "An anteater, is it?" "Not anteater," explained Mr. Popper. "Antarctic. It was sent to me from the South Pole." "Take the South Pole goose away from me at once," said Miss Callahan. Mr. Popper pulled obediently at the clothesline, while Captain Cook took a parting peck at Miss Callahan's stray stocking. "Heaven preserve us," said Miss Callahan. "I must stop in and see Miss Popper at once. I would never have believed it. I will be going now." "So will I," said Mr. Popper, as Captain Cook dragged him up down the street. The next stop was the drugstore at the corner of Brownfoot Avenue and Main Street. Here Captain Cook insisted on looking over the window display, which consisted of several open packages of shiny white boric crystals. These he evidently mistook for polar snow, for he began to peck at the window vigorously. Suddenly, a car whirled to the nearby curb, with a shriek of its brakes, and two young men sprang out, one of them bearing a camera. "This must be it," said the first young man to the other. "It's them, all right," said the second young man. The cameraman set up his cheap tripod on the sidewalk. By this time, a small crowd had gathered around, and two men in white coats had even come out of the drugstore to watch. Captain Cook, however, was still too much interested in the window exhibits to bother to turn around. "You're Mr. Popper of 432 Brownfoot Avenue, aren't you?" asked the second young man, pulling a notebook out of his pocket. "Yes," said Mr. Popper, realizing that his picture was about to be taken for the newspaper. The two young men had, as a matter of fact, heard about the strange bird from the policeman, and had been on their way to the Popper house to get an interview, when they saw Captain Cook. "Hey, Pelican, turn around and see the pretty birdie," said the photographer. "That's no pelican," said the other, who was a reporter. "Pelicans have a pouch in their bills." "I think it was a dodo. Only dodos are extinct. This will make an elegant picture if I can ever get her to turn around." "It's a penguin," said Mr. Popper proudly. "His name is Captain Cook." "Cook," said the penguin, turning around now that they were talking about him. Spying the camera tripod, he walked over and examined it. "Probably thinks it's a three-legged stock," said the photographer. "This bird is yours," said the reporter. "Is it a he or a she? The public will want to know." Mr. Popper hesitated. "Well, I call it Captain Cook. That makes it a he," said the reporter, writing rapidly in his logbook. Still curious, Captain Cook started walking round and round the tripod. Still the close lies, the penguin, Mr. Popper, and the tripod were all tangled up. At the advice of one of those bystanders, the tangle was finally straightened out by Mr. Popper's walking around the tripod 3 times in the opposite direction. At last, Captain Cook, standing still beside Mr. Popper, consented to both. Mr. Popper straightened his tie, and the cameraman snapped the picture. Captain Cook shut his eyes, and this is the way his picture appeared later in all the newspapers. "One last question," said the reporter. "Where did you get your train pet?" "From Admiral Drake, the South Pole Explorers. He sent him to me for a present." "Yeah," said the reporter. "Anyway, it's a good story." The two young men jumped into their car. Mr. Popper and Captain Cook continued their work, with quite a crowd following and asking questions. The crowd was getting so thick that, in order to escape, Mr. Popper led Captain Cook into a barber shop. The man who kept a barber shop had up to this time been a very good friend of Mr. Popper's.